Welcome to Breaking the Couch, a weekly conversation demystifying what happens in and behind the therapy scene to support your healing journey. We're your hosts.
I'm Dr. Dowtin, a licensed clinical professional counselor, a certified school psychologist, and a trauma specialist with Playfully Psyched.
And I'm Dr. Joharchi with Soft Heart Psychology, a licensed clinical psychologist.
We're here aiming to provide you with mental health tools to address the cycle of generational trauma across the age span, from infancy and childhood to adulthood.
For more information, visit our Instagram page at Breaking the Couch or our website, breakingthecouch.com. While we hope you love listening to and learning from our podcast, it's not a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dowtin, a trauma therapist, and I'm one of the co-hosts on this podcast, Breaking the Couch. I thought it'd be really cool to just spend a few minutes with you to talk a little bit about myself and what you might expect on this podcast. So, credentials, let's get those out of the way. I am a licensed clinical professional counselor. I am a nationally certified school psychologist, and I have a PhD in clinical psychology. So when it comes to mental health, I'm kind of very well trained. At the same time, I had a lot of extensive experience in trauma work. I can ramble off a few of the trauma trainings that I have and all the experience that I have, but I won't go too far into that. So trauma-focused CBT. It's not my favorite, but I actually have training in that. Child-parent psychotherapy, which is a trauma intervention for babies and children ages birth to 5, and their families love it. I have EMDR training. So yeah, that's a trauma training that I have as well, and a slew of others. My primary focus is really working with young children and their families, and then I work with adults who've experienced a traumatic event in their life. So trauma is the lens that I work through, but I also work through a social justice and an anti-racist lens because I am Black, I am proud, and unfortunately, I understand the ramifications that racial trauma can have on people of all generations. So that's a little bit about me and my background. This podcast I'm really excited about because who'd have thought that, little old me would be willing to be on camera and on the microphone to talk to the world. But what I'm finding is that when I'm in private practice, it is really hard to always get access to the people that you need to get access to because private practice is expensive and most of us in private practice don't accept insurance. But a podcast, my presence on social media, that gives me an opportunity to give back to my community, give back to the community that has given so much to me. And so here I am. I am working with Dr. Jaharchi, and we are meeting weekly and creating this wonderful podcast. What can you expect on Breaking the Couch? Well, Breaking the Couch is a behind the scenes of therapy podcast that's going to talk about everything under the sun, from trauma therapy to what therapists do in between their sessions. How do they stay regulated so that they can show up for you? How you can find a therapist that's a good fit for you. Racial injustice, social justice, reproductive justice, generational trauma, and so much more. Dr. Jaharchi and I also have a shared background in working with the deaf community. And so we thought it was very, very important that we had this podcast accessible in some way to people who are deaf or hard of hearing. So we have a YouTube channel that's going to post directly at the same time that we post into this podcast. And the YouTube channel has not only the auto-generated captions, which I know aren't always great, but they also have the captions that we go in and manually update them just to make sure the spelling is correct and it's a little bit more clear. Now, I said we, but Dr. Harchi is currently doing all that part for us. So I am so grateful because captions take a long time. But we wanted to make sure that we're accessible. And we'll also have, for people who like to read, we will have it available that people can actually just read the transcript. Those are going to be lengthy and they're not going to be perfect. It's not going to say like Dr. Dowtin, Dr. Jaharchi, Dr. Dowtin, but there will be an opportunity for people to read if that's something that they want. So we want to be accessible. You'll be able to call in and give us your comments, ask for topic suggestions, ask questions. You can also submit that through our website if you don't want to use the phone, don't want to use your voicemail, aren't able to, what have you, but you can type those in. We have a form on our website. So I'm super excited. Our official launch date is April 26th, 2022. Until then, you'll have a couple teasers, but if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast or the YouTube page, check out our website, breakingthecouch.com, and we will be talking with you very soon. All right, thanks. Bye.
If you are looking for a therapist for yourself or your child, you can visit our websites, playfullypsych.com or softheartpsychology.com.
We appreciate you joining us this week and can't wait till there's another opportunity to jump on the couch with you next week.